Hey guys, I'm Ajinkya Dikshit and this is my channel Ajinkst Artist. For a while now, I've been thinking about making this series, this travel podcast series where I would like to tell my stories of how I would travel around and get by and have different experiences. I've been thinking about it for a while and this is finally I'm doing it. So I'm glad I'm ready with one story at least. So let's begin. This weekend I was supposed to be going to Pench. If the lockdown hadn't happened, I was supposed to be in Pench for the second time. So, as the trip got cancelled, I thought I should talk about my first ever experience of a jungle safari, and it was quite a good one actually, because coincidentally it was Pench and it was exactly 6 years ago in the month of May. The way this happened is I was on my trip to Vedas, and while returning, I met a new friend and she asked me to join her for the Pench jungle safaris for I think 2 to 3 days. It included 4 to 5 safaris, and I was really excited because I had just bought a camera, my first DSLR, and I was excited to experiment with that and get to see some tigers, some wild animals first time. So as I said, it was my first experience. I had no clue what to do, how to do it. So the group with which I went on, I had no idea who the people were. So I met them a couple of times, got to know them, and they were all school friends and their spouses, and I was the odd man out. It was quite weird at first, but then I got comfortable with them after meeting them a few times. Later, we had an orientation with the organizing team. They are called Flycatcher Adventures. Excellent group of people, and I think I was lucky to manage and squeeze in myself with this safari because it was quite late, and I think I booked around only a month or 2 months before the trip was finalized. So we had our orientation at a hotel on Mendali Garage Road here in Pune. It was quite good. I remember we had sandwiches and we interacted with the rest of the people joining us. It was good fun, a good activity. They told us what to do, what not to do. And at that point I think for the first time I heard that Pench is the birthplace of the Jungle Book by Rudyard Kipling. And I was blown back because I'm a good, decent fan, I can say, of Mowgli, but I had no idea that Rudyard Kipling wrote it right at Pench while staying in the jungle. So it was a big surprise and an exciting one equally. So I was pumped to join all of these people for this amazing trip. So the plan was to go from Pune to Nagpur and then by a private car to the hotel in the buffer zone of the national park. So I think most of it went by plan, but as I said, these guys were we were traveling and they were all together, so I had to travel on a separate bogie, which was a bit boring, but it was for only one night, so I think it was okay. Everyone had great cameras and lenses and experiences, but as I said, this was my first experience of the jungle safari, and I was very excited for it. So we catch the train. It's a good train. I think it was Garib Rath. So AC 3 tire, 2 tire. I think we get to Nagpur the next day around 10 a.m. The cars are waiting for us. We pack our bags and leave for Pench. On the way, we cross the Maharashtra MP border and go to the MP side of the national park because it lies between two states. It is divided not equally, but most of the part lies in MP. So I had to go to the MP gate and drop our bags on the lodge, the hotel, have our lunch, and go for our first safari. My first safari. I knew I would get to take decent photos. I was excited for it, but I had no experience using the camera. If we should bring anything to cover it, because I had no idea it would be so dusty in the safari that the entire camera gets covered in dust. Because the vehicle moves pretty fast and it's all soil and dirt, no cement roads or tar roads there. So I found out it the hard way, I can say. The hotel was good. It was a big area. Rooms were clean, and I don't remember the name now, but it had a swimming pool, so that was also fun. Rooms were pretty big. We were, I think, divided into double sharing. So I was with another guy, and no issues there as well. So it was a good experience staying at the hotel and enjoying the swimming pool after a safari for the couple of nights. So the safari starts. We are at the gate. It's around 3:34, almost 4 p.m. while we enter the park. I don't remember the exact time, but somewhat. As we enter, we see few birds like the Indian roller pretty closely. I start taking photos right away. We see some kingfishers and some sambar deer and spotted deer. It was all new to me, and I was pretty excited to see them. I've been saying excited, excited for some time now, so I'll stop. I was happy to see all the biodiversity, but as I said, most of the people in my gypsy as well were experienced of the jungle safari, so they were being considerate for me and stopping at almost every new animal that we saw. There were some raptors like the white-eyed buzzard, the osprey, the vast landscape of Pench and the river Pench. It was very, very beautiful. Even in the month of May, it wasn't that hot compared to being so close to Nagpur. We saw some vultures, some wild boars, and jackals. Initially, when I saw the jackal, I wasn't sure if it's a jackal or a fox or a wolf. I had no idea, but our tour guide told us, and the safari guide also told us that it's a jackal, and these are like some of the factors that differentiate them from the wolves and the foxes. So, size is one, the color is one, the behavior is also a big factor. Later, we moved on from that point looking for tigers, of course, but we went to a few watering holes where the tigers would come usually in the afternoons, but no luck on the first safari. We got to see the scops owl, my first, and they sleep during the day, as we all know. So when the first time I saw them, I thought they had really small eyes or no eyes at all, because initially it was so hard to spot them. Even when the guide is pointing at them straight, you don't really see that they are sitting right in front of you because they are so well camouflaged. But we found them, and they were quite different compared to the common spotted owlet or jungle owlet or other species of owls. From there, when we just went a bit forward, we saw a monitor lizard, again up close and personal for the first time for me. I took some shots. I had no idea you have to take raw images and then process them and compress them and edit them. I was just clicking I had no idea about the shutter speed or the ISO or the aperture, nothing, just auto mode Zindabad. It was a good first experience for me personally because I was sitting on the last seat of the gypsy, and it gives you a decent height to observe all the biodiversity from there. There were only calls of sambars and peacocks and peafowls and spotted deers and langurs, but nothing on the first safari. For I think we had four gypsies, out of which no gypsy had any sighting of any tiger in the entire park. So the first night went well, and actually now that I'm thinking about it, it's all coming back to me. It was a full moon, and I'm looking at the photos, so that helps actually. I took some shots of the moon. I had the 55 to 50 with 600D Canon camera, and it felt really good at that point of time as the first camera. The next day was exciting because it was a morning safari, a first morning safari for me. The gypsies would arrive at the hotel around 6 a.m. It was a bit cold in the morning, so we had our uh, slightly thinner jackets with hats and handkerchiefs all covered up. As from my first safari, I had learned that handkerchiefs are very important to cover your mouth and to cover the camera. We went to a different zone in the morning safari, and the first thing we saw is the white-eyed buzzard or honey buzzard, I'm not sure, one of the other, but it was a glimpse and it just flew away very fast. Then we saw another jackal, and this time I was sure if it was actually a jackal. Then we went to the watering hole. We saw some peafowls there, but no tigers. And we continued for some time. We saw some birds. We saw other groups of tourists, but no luck with the tigers. We saw some pug marks as well. They were quite fresh, I think, but no tiger in sight. After a round around the park of that zone, particularly, we came to the watering hole again and waited for some time to observe some bee eaters hunting there, but no tiger showed up at the watering hole, and quickly it was time to head back. I think around 10ish the safari ends in the morning, so we come back and rest for some time. Then, as to say, there wasn't much excitement left in me after the second safari, I think, in the morning, because no gypsy had seen any tiger for the two safaris, none of our gypsies at least, and I think we had 4 to 5 gypsies in different zones. So the group enthusiasm was getting a bit low. In the evening safari, then we saw some Indian wild dogs. A decent number of them actually were trying to hunt a deer. We heard some calls, but there was no activity in sight and it was getting dark, so we had to leave. Everyone actually hates the Indian wild dogs, including tigers, because they are quite vicious, and if the number is decent enough, they can easily get any prey from a sambar to maybe even a calf of the bison. So our third safari went equally boring. I shouldn't say this, but it was now getting on a nerve because I know I have no experience of it, but as the group said, this doesn't happen and it depends on luck, and superstition started coming in, and people started telling me, you sit here, you sit there, we should try this zone, we should try that zone, and we'll get to see something. Actually, when we went back to the hotel in the evening, I think one of our gypsies saw a male tiger at the watering hole, but it was dark and he was at a distance. Even at 500 mm, my friend couldn't capture a decent shot of the tiger. So, end of day, night, the second night at the hotel, we went into the pool, enjoyed some water sports, some time pass around the pool. It was good fun. Everyone was quite relaxed. It was our last safari the next morning, so we had no option but to enjoy ourselves and not think about the trip being a total waste. Well, we can't say that. Shouldn't say that, but it was certainly feeling that way. So the time that we spent at the pool was very important, I think. So the next morning we are ready for our final safari, and we are hoping that we get to see at least a short, very short glimpse of the tiger. And man, it was getting hard to keep thinking positively. It was around half an hour that we spent in the different zone. I think it was Bagin Nala. So we went there, and I think our guide was quite sure about the female that lived close by had 3 cubs, and he was assuring us that she might come near the water. So we went close to the water, and there were, I think, a couple of gypsies already there waiting, and they had spotted the tigress in the water, but she was across the watering hole. We hadn't seen her yet, but as the guides were communicating with each other, they were sure that she would come here and cross the road and go to the other side. But slowly the number of gypsies kept increasing as the word passed, and our chances of seeing the tiger looked very gloomy. We waited for some time, and once, I think after 15-20 minutes, the rest of the gypsies thought of going to the other side of the watering hole and trying to find the tigress from the other side. But our guide was certain that she would come this way because all the gypsies have gone that way. To avoid the crowds, she'll surely cross this road because she anyways has her den, we can say her den, on the other side of the road, from where we would get a good chance of spotting her. And another 10-15 minutes passed by. We were just sitting in the gypsy waiting for the tigress to show up because the rest of the people went on the other side. There was nobody around, just our gypsy with the engine shut. We were just sitting and observing nature. This was probably the first time that I felt, yeah, this is something that I would like to do again and again. Suddenly, our guide hears a noise. There's some calling of the peafowl or the langur. I don't know. I don't remember exactly now. But there was some noise, and the guide stood up in the car and turned back and said, "Tigress." Very slowly and very quietly, he said, "Don't make too loud noise or movement. Just quietly turn around and see for yourself." So I was again sitting on the last seat, so I had a good view again of the tigress, and there she was, my first experience of a wild tiger at Pench, and it was magical. It's not very easy to explain in words, but it feels very, very thrilling. There's a point in every photographer's life that he gets to experience. Some get to experience it quite early, some get to experience it later in life, but I felt it at that moment where I thought, should I take photos or should I just keep observing, just staring at the tigress? There was a moment that she looked at us, looked around, and then started crossing the road, and I thought I won't get another chance to click photos of a tigress, so I should make the most of it. I know these are not the best, but again, my first time, so this is the tigress of Pench that I saw for the first time. Looking at her size, I couldn't believe that she was actually a tigress, and male tigers would be even bigger than that. So the tigress looks around, crosses the road, goes across in the bushes. We don't know where she is. One after the other, the small cubs, not very small actually, they are quite big, almost big as dogs, 6 months old I think, and the first and the second one go quickly behind her, but the third one stays behind because it was quite shy and was afraid of our gypsy. So we moved a bit away from them, but the cub still didn't cross the road. And then the rest of the gypsies all showed up, and it was then actually quite impossible for the cub to cross the road now. So we thought that we should give some space to him so the gypsies would move and stop and move and stop. But even the cub was a bit scared. He was moving from places to places, giving calls, but couldn't cross the road. So we waited for 5-10 minutes, and then we thought that we should leave now because it was getting crowded there. So that's it. This was my first experience of a wild tiger, and it was really satisfying. Then we moved from that place, moved to a different zone, not a zone, but a different terrain where we had rocky patches, where the guide told us a story of how he saw a leopard chasing a sambar and pouncing on it and killing it right in front of the guide. It was quite exciting. I think these kind of stories are the best examples because visually it's not possible to shoot these situations or give this experience to others, but storytelling is something which all the guides would do. All the people who were at the safari would tell their experiences, and it was quite enriching. So I was happy, came back to the hotel, and I think I was teasing the rest of the group because our gypsy was the only one to spot the tigress and the three cubs. Some of the people got the glimpse of the third cub, but nobody got the glimpse of the tigress except for our gypsies. They were okay with it because everyone knew it was my first safari, and it was quite hard, particularly for our trip and our group, to spot a tiger for all the 4 safaris. And it was the last safari, and we managed to see the tigress very closely, I must say. So I hope you enjoyed this story. It's sad because I was supposed to be there again this time, reliving the forest, experiencing new things, new zones, new tigers, new guides. But if it wasn't meant to be, then we shouldn't hold on to it. So please subscribe to my channel. I'm hoping to continue this series even after the lockdown ends. So I'll catch up with some friends and ask them about their stories and their travel experiences. So please subscribe for that and stay tuned. I'll see you next time, or you'll see me next time. Bye bye.